Paul's typing his dissertation or resignation letter. Hopefully hopefully the latter. I mean, this would be the last episode. That'd be great. Get my mornings back.
Wow, that's hurtful. 9:01 a.m. Our first communication. Just throw a little dirt on my grave and walk away. It's nice.
Yep. They just put a pen loop right on your little area.
The top of the gravestone.
Yep.
Yep.
It's what he loved most, folks. It's what he loved most. So we're gonna kick it off here with an interesting question, because
yeah, an interesting question. I'm curious what the impetus to this question was. You brought this up at some time in the past or something.
Well, I tweeted it out over. I think it was Monday, because I was working on my lawnmower. I had an issue with my lawnmower, so I replaced.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, I replaced fuel filter, spark plug, and all that good stuff.
I was thinking this had something to do with a car.
No.
I got you. Okay, I didn't understand what it was.
Yeah. So who?
Anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
I was trying to pull up the exact question. So it comes from Eric, and he says, "Brad, are you a big believer in putting stuff like stable in your gasoline?" So here we go. Here's Brad. Oops, that's Paul. This is Brad. So here's my take on this one. I don't use stable explicitly in my small engine. So that would be like my lawnmower, my trimmer, and my blower. What I do use is ethanol-free gasoline for storing it over the winter. And so the logic behind this is that there's two ways you can approach this. One, you can just drain all the oil or all the gas out of your small engines and just let them sit naked, if you will, over the winter. I've heard that's not necessarily maybe the best practice, because
does water get in there or something? Is that the deal?
Well, it could be water, and it could also, the other issue too is that it could dry out seals, because it's rubber tubing that's running it in.
Yep.
So I don't personally do that. What I buy is, you can just get it at I believe Home Depot. It's called True Fuel, I believe. And so it's ethanol-free gasoline. The reason why you don't want to use ethanol is I believe that stuff eats through rubber faster than traditional gasoline. And so using that True Fuel stuff, which says it's stable for 2 years, I put just a little bit into the engines and then let them sit over the winter. But during the year, typically what I'll do is just effectively use the True Fuel until I'm out of it. Then I'll just use regular gasoline from the pumps. And then in the winter time, then I'll get that stuff out of there and use ethanol-free gasoline. So that's what I've been doing. Seems to work. I don't know. My stuff's 7 years old now, and this is the first issue I had, and it was really just a clogged fuel filter. So
yeah, and honestly, that's going to happen. That's
maintenance. So there you go. There you go, Eric. There is your small motor engine tip daily.
Brad,
yep.
I have a question for you, and it's maybe more pertinent to the the theme of the podcast. Microsoft released, or finally made of it, whatever, Microsoft 365 for consumers.
Yes.
So I have two questions. They're related. What was your impression, having watched? We got a video that we got to see ahead of the launch, remember? And I don't think they ever made that public for some reason. They should have. And it was just Yusuf Mehdi kind of walking around a space and talking to different employees about different new features, right? First of all, I'd say I don't want to ask this in a way that kind of tailors your response, but what was your understanding of Microsoft 365? Of Teams for consumers? What was when you saw that event?
So
how did you?
This is a good question, because I've been harassing Microsoft PR for an answer on this. So my understanding was that when this launched, it was we're getting nothing. Like Teams for consumers was not coming until the summer at best for mobile, and then like the actual launch is realistically this fall, which is probably when we won't need it anymore, hopefully. So so that was also my understanding, but there's been a lot of confusion about this. A lot of people woke up whatever day it became available, yesterday, whenever it was, and said, hey, they said Teams first coming for consumers, where is it? And I don't think they ever said that. No, they were pretty clear that it was summer at earliest for
summer at earliest. Okay, that was actually my second question. A related question though is sort of but obviously the reason this is confusing is poor communication on Microsoft's part, but in part. But there's also consumer features coming to the Teams that we have today, which is for businesses for the most part, right? So they were talking about integrating consumer features into Teams, the existing Teams, so that people who are using it for work can,
Yes. Yeah. You would switch accounts effectively, and then you would get, yeah.
All right. So then there is, in fact, either a literal Teams for consumers that will be a separate app, or they will take the current app and make it suitable for consumers as well as business users, much like they've done with OneDrive. Is that
my understanding was that you have one Teams app, and then you're either logged in as your business account, or you can just fast switch to your personal account.
Yeah, so you could sign in with your work or organizational account, whatever that is, AAD, whatever, or with an MSA, or both, like you do in OneDrive. Okay, I don't ask these questions because I have my own. You've said everything you said is what I thought was the case.
Yeah.
But I'm really struck by how much confusion there is over this topic.
Yeah, it's Microsoft for you. So here's the question I've been harassing Microsoft PR about for a while, and they don't have an answer for me yet. I want to know what the difference in feature set is going to be between the consumer version and the free version of Teams that is available today.
Right. Yep.
I mean, they clearly have a free product right now that you can go out and just sign up for Teams and use it with your friends if you want.
They need to communicate that there's this thing called Teams, and it can be used by anyone today if you want for free.
Yeah.
Right, to some capacity. And if you sign in with a work account today, an AAD whatever account, you get many additional features, of course, and they can be managed and controlled by your organization in different ways through policy, et cetera. And we will be bringing this product to consumers as well. So presumably when you go to download Microsoft 365 Personal or Family in the future, or you get an upgrade, I guess, an update or whatever, you will get Teams as part of that app set that you download to the desktop.
Yes, something like that.
I think so. Yeah. Anyway, but they need to just kind of, I feel like this has not been clear.
Yeah, I think the important thing to take away is it's one app. That was very, very clear. You're going to have one Teams app. That is it. And then you're going to have different, which this is what I don't understand, is how you're going to have different features in different portions of the app depending on how you're logged in. That feels odd, personally. Specifically, they talked about, and again, because of Microsoft, they didn't really talk about it. There was a brief moment where they showed off like a password or some sort of management functionality features or something like that. Great. I'm not going to harp them on that. That's good. But then, you know who else could use that? Businesses. Like, is that going to be something that you can use in your, like, for us as a company, we could use this. This is why I'm very curious, is that BWW could use a built-in password manager into Teams. Am I going to get that functionality when this rolls out?
Probably not, by the way, but fair enough. Yep.
So, typical Microsoft, just enough to make you talk about it, not enough to really talk educated about it.
Well, I know, but it's look, like I said, you came away with the same impression that I did, but then you and I also watched a thing that they didn't make available to the public.
Yeah, which I'm
so when they made
surprised.
Whatever announcements they made at the time back in, I guess it was March, and then they made another announcement today. I think a lot of people between those two things were like, hold on a second. Well, no, clearly a lot of people, because I see them on Twitter, email, whatever. I thought Teams, I am already an Office 365 personal or home subscriber, and I thought I was upgrading to Teams. where is it?
Yeah.
And it's confusing.
It is. I think it's mostly confusing because they launched Microsoft 365 for Life, or whatever they're calling it, yesterday. But like 90% of the features that are new are not available. There is the editor that is available, which I can't recommend yet because it's honestly not that great compared to Grammarly.
And not to be a real dick about it, but what the hell? It's the pandemic, and I'm me. I have noticed multiple. Yeah, I have noticed multiple times. The Windows, like the Insider blog, is always terrible. It's unprofessionally written, but I have seen things on like the Edge, one of the Edge blogs. I don't know if it's for devs or just the development blog or whatever it is. And reading these posts, you can tell they're not using Grammarly. Like you can tell, like there are all these things that Grammarly would have caught. And I don't know if they are using the editor yet or not. It doesn't really matter. But this is a really sad example of there being not just a perfectly good tool, but a superior tool out in the world that works great. And they announced this thing, and of course, this Microsoft guys, we kind of like, yeah, this looks really interesting. I'm gonna have to try this. And but then again, I use Microsoft Word every day to write, and it catches what it catches. But when I post that stuff into a web form, Grammarly catches dozens of extra things.
Yeah. Although I will
that's
tell you,
troubling.
I do kind of, I don't like that Word doesn't catch it, but one of the reasons why I like writing in Word is that now I'm getting two AI
levels.
bots to look
That's
at
right.
my tragedies, and then when they're public, then I can blame the AI and not me. So.
Yes. Right. And fair enough. And the younger guys like Mehdi, I believe might still actually write into the web form. I know I think a lot of people probably do that.
Don't do
And
that. Don't do that.
no, don't ever do that. But I mean, I
You
think a
will
lot
get
of
burned
people,
eventually if you're
oh yeah,
listening to
and
this.
he has. I know he's come. I remember one time he lost an article or whatever.
Yeah.
But regardless, I'm just what I'm saying is just the reality is simply that, especially younger people, I would think, might do that. And aside from the other risks, I mean, one of the things you're not getting is that 2 levels of,
Yeah.
I don't know what to call it, 2 levels of oversight over your.
Yeah. Other things that AI are not great at apparently are Outlook spam, which this is like one of the awkward things from Microsoft. They boast that they have the best AI and ML in the world.
Yep.
Fine, it's great marketing.
Oh,
Apply it to your spam filters that are a modern day tragedy in Outlook. Like, I don't need fake McAfee virus warnings busting through into my Outlook inbox. It's
I don't have one every day, but
I do.
I routinely get like fake PayPal things.
Yes, and Amazon,
and it's like,
and
guys,
Apple.
this was solved. The fact that you are letting through the most unsophisticated phishing attempt is alarming. So we're all taking stock these days. I mean, maybe Microsoft can take a step back and say, let's take a couple of months and shore things up a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's stop adding new features to crap, and let's just let's make sure our house is in order.
Let's make Outlook about email again.
Yep. Yes. Make Outlook pretend to care about email just for a couple months.
And specifically, I'm talking about Outlook.com, not the
Yes.
Outlook mail app or the Outlook mobile app. This is just Outlook.com. And also, while you guys are at it, if you could unwind my integration of your contacts, because I can't get that unwound now, it is great. And so I would like to send some nasty grams to the people who did that, because now it's all work email. And
it's you spent
email.
months trying to get this thing going, and it was so immediately terrible.
Yep.
And then has left a lasting scar. It's the perfect Microsoft relationship when you think about it.
Yeah.
It's just amazing.
Yep. No, it's bad. I can guarantee you that when I hit P into the address bar, I'm wanting to email Paul, and not Paulini35@yahoo.com, who spams me. I can promise you that. But
I typed Tina in one time, and the mail auto completed to Mehdi.
Close.
This is a true story.
Yeah.
And Mehdi was like, I don't know, how come you haven't sent me this thing yet? And I said, I did send it to you. And then Tina was like, why did you send me this? It's like, what is happening? I don't know. I don't confuse those two people.
Other things floating around. This one looks kind of interesting. The Series X branding has been trademarked by Microsoft. Now, it's not explicitly confirmed that this is the actual branding, but it looks right, and it really kind of nicely sets up a Series S or something else, because the word Series is literally right next to the letter X, so looks like that's there to stay.
Series as opposed to Siri, the horrible Apple personal assistant.
Yes. Yep. And then also, put on my shocked face here, that the iPhone 2020 could be delayed, although I feel like we hear this rumor every single year, but this year maybe feels a little bit more authentic than some of the other years that we always hear this. So
right. I'm thinking, I don't know if I write this up or what the point of that would even be, but I have money in a PayPal account that I use specifically to buy technology things, usually devices, right? So if there's like a new Google or Apple phone or something, and this money comes from the book, and it comes from a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So there's never a lot of money in it. It's
Yeah.
not a lot of money. It's very little money
It's your
actually,
play
but
fund.
whatever.
I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
that the point of it is it's put aside and whatever. So normally, like this time of year, if the world hadn't gone to shit,
Mm-hmm.
I might have bought the new iPhone, maybe. I definitely would be buying the new Google phone, like whenever that came out. And I'm actually thinking, like, I don't know, like spending money on something like this at this time seems really dumb to me.
Yeah.
And I'll get devices for review. There are companies that are sending me products. I've got a Dell PC coming today, for example. Actually, I think I have I have an HP computer coming soon. So those are provided for free. I can review them and get rid of them, and it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But like actually spending like hundreds of dollars at a time when my wife is filing for unemployment, the future is completely uncertain. My daughter is supposed to be going off to college, and the hell knows what's going to happen there, et cetera.
Yeah.
It's like, it just seems like pointless and irresponsible,
Yeah. Oh no, it really does. Like it really is.
I've always justified it, and I'm having a hard time.
Yeah. I know it's tomorrow is no guarantee of today. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's legit.
It just doesn't. Yeah. I mean, and I've, you kind of knee jerk look at, like, there's the iPad Pro, whatever that keyboard thing is called that they have now with the trackpad in it. It's like, I'm kind of, I'm interested, but it's like, I can test how this works using stuff I already have. Like, I don't have to buy this thing, and I don't know.
Yeah. No, the keyboard case is interesting. But the hilarious part about it is that if you put that case on the iPad Pro, then it actually weighs more than a MacBook Air.
It's also thicker.
It's also
by
thicker.
the way.
Yeah. You were paying
a
serious premium because you want to use iPad OS, which is actually a less functional version of Mac OS, although probably not tied too closely anymore. They at one point were the same thing, but
yeah, you're right. And this goes back to one of my longtime memes, I don't know, mantras, whatever you want to call it. I have this notion of right tool for the job. Like, there people have a dream of having like a device that does everything. It'd be, I could bring my phone around and pop out a keyboard and write on that. It'd be amazing. I would only have to carry the one thing, except that's obviously not just one thing. But a phone, and if you need it, a tablet or want it, and then a PC are three different things, and they each do certain things well. The iPad kind of scrambles it a bit because maybe it serves some of that big screen writing on a keyboard kind of function well enough that you could in fact reduce the device count down to 2 by having a phone and a tablet. But you're right. Yeah. The thing you're carrying is more ponderous, and it's heavier, and it's more,
There's also this thing, which I'm about to do another write-up on it for 6 months. It's kind of hard to believe this thing has been out for 6. This is the Pro X.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Which, I don't know. I kind of like it better.
Well, I mean, better than what?
Like as a laptop. Well, I should say better. So the hard part about this thing is I can't tell that if I like it more because of the design, right? It's a completely different design than the Pro, which, let's be honest here, has been the exact same roughly since the Pro 3. It really hasn't changed.
No, you're right. Yeah.
And so like this is like shiny, different aspect ratio or different dimensions,
smaller bezels, thinner design. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's complete. It's probably completely fanless, I would think. Hopefully,
I'm pretty sure it is, and gets good battery life. It's not the highest performant thing, but it's a good.
Yeah.
And this is going to sound weird, but to me, this is like a good middle ground tablet because it's not quite as powerful as let's say like an i7 Pro. It's nowhere near that. But it's
bigger screen.
But to me, it's more functional than just about for personally. So it's more functional than an iPad.
That form factor needs to have the Intel chip inside it. Microsoft actually does do a good job of going fanless with i5 and i3, so it's possible. That would eliminate the compatibility issues. The performance would be as good, if not better, et cetera, et cetera. So, like. Everything's a compromise. I mean, all of these are, whatever, but there are PC laptops that get 20 hours of battery life, the thin, beautiful, modern designs. There's something for everyone, I guess, it's fine. This kind of ties, I was doing the comments this morning. This is my. If you think the pandemic is bad, you should look at the comments. It is. It's just a daily smack to the face. You know how terrible people are to each other, to us. You know, it's awful. So that that tool came out yesterday. You wrote about curtains, and you know, it's a lot of people who are like, they're like, this just as a guideline for providing feedback, right? So here's one of the things you could say. You could say, you know, I really don't like the XP look, and I don't want that, and that's fine.
Yeah,
everybody has their own opinion. That's fine. I don't know what would possess you to write that into a comment, but whatever. It's fine. There's nothing offensive about that. You know, it's your opinion. It's okay. But then to follow it up by, and I don't understand why anyone would want to use this. It's like record scratch. Stop. Why do you have to make it personal?
Yeah.
Like there are people that want that thing, you know? I mean, look, we can be emphatic about certain things, I guess, you know, like I would make the argument like Surface Go is pointless, right? And for anybody. And because there are things that exist in the world like iPads.
Yeah.
But there are also, if you like, for some reason, you love Microsoft, you love Surface, you want this lower cost thing, you want to give it to a kid maybe.
Or you need Active Directory built in.
Whatever. Yep. Here's an idea. Buy a used Surface Pro. Okay? Bigger screen, better battery life, way better performance, better experience. I just don't do that to yourself, you know? But, you know, again, I find myself on the cusp of doing what I just said not to do, which is like, I don't think anyone should buy this thing.
Yeah.
And I don't. I mean, I'm a reviewer or whatever. But I mean, to go in and like just kind of say to people, like, I don't know why anyone would want this. It's like, well, I do know why people want it.
Yeah.
But as a suggestion, you know, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It looks like a neat app. I'm personally kind of, I haven't gotten to play with it as much as I'd like to yet, but it looks neat. I don't know. I mean, it's you don't, if you don't like it, don't install it. Don't pay for it. Like this is just a way to customize. Yes. I mean, there's my kind of like diving into like screwing around with Windows started around XP, I think, and I think it was Windows blinds. Just customizing the hell out of it, trying to make it something that it wasn't or whatever. And I've always, I mean, I run Rain Meter every day on every single PC that I have, and so I'm looking forward to being able to change things easily. And why not? Okay.
Back in the day, and there was a version of this for XP, but even before XP, I think it was like 95 and 98 had like a plus pack, you know?
Yeah.
And on the Surface, this sounds superfluous, right? It's like themes and icons and cursors and backgrounds and blah, blah, blah. It's like, why would, you know, what is the, and there were good utilities in there too and different things, whatever. But, you know, it was like, why would I pay extra? Blah, 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 blah. And you know, my kind of take on that at the time was like, you know, anything that makes your daily experience more pleasing is not necessarily a bad thing, you know?
Yeah.
And Stardock, I think we talked about this yesterday. I mean, they've really picked up the baton on this stuff, and they have tools that you can once again do the, you know, the cursor. Yep. You can do the soundscape stuff, like you said. There's all kinds of UI stuff. They have tab functionality and application windows. They have, you know, they have all this stuff, and it's like, look, for some people, that's going to be what puts this over the top for them. You know, there's not only is there nothing wrong with it, but it's fantastic that anybody is taking the time to make this stuff. You know, you may not want it. I use the cursor thing. You can see it in the screenshots. Like when on the computer I do all the dev work on, I've got that going up there, and I think it's neat. I think
the thing is, Paul, if you want to use it, you can. If you don't, you don't have to. That's the brilliance of software. So,
yeah.
Anyways, the one thing I'm going to be watching here, Microsoft reports earnings, I think, a week from today. Yeah. Okay. I think it's the 29th. I'm very curious to see PC sales. I think we're going to see a good, strong Surface quarter. I think, and I bet we see a good, strong PC.
I'm going to go. I don't think we are. So we'll see what happens there.
Yeah.
The interesting thing to me is going to be the breakdown between the three major business units. It had been kind of neck and neck for many quarters, right? And I think the fourth calendar quarter last year was a little different because PC sales tend to go up at the end of the year because of the holidays, et cetera, et cetera. So I think it had been trending toward the cloud stuff, and then it kind of went back, and it was kind of even. I'm wondering now with this pandemic stuff if we don't see a surge in revenue on, from the cloud businesses.
Well, I bet, yeah. I just suspect that there's a lot of people working from home who didn't have a laptop at the office and suddenly now have a
Yeah,
laptop.
no, maybe. I mean, um, talking to those guys from Microsoft this week, like we did, part of that conversation was, people are going home and you're using what they have,
Mm-hmm.
if you were an employee of a company and they weren't going to supply you with a laptop, unless it was like a crazy need. I mean,
Yeah.
spending $1,000 now at home, for yourself is like, I don't know. Yeah,
Yeah.
I maybe,
We'll see.
that will be an interesting thing to look at for sure.
And it's important to put it into perspective. I mean, quarter over quarter comparison, not like compared to Q. I think Q4 will probably, because Q4 was almost 2 billion. I don't think they'll be.
Oh yeah,
passing 2
no,
billion,
I know, but even the see, to me, remember this conversation we'd had at that time, like they basically hit 2 billion for the first time. That seems like really good news, but they actually had a warning about the service business. That number was way lower than they thought it was going to be,
Yeah.
which is part of the reason I'm wondering post holiday quarter. And then I don't know. It seems like the new devices haven't really taken off dramatically.
We'll find out. We got about a week.
Yeah, we will. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll vaguely find out, I should say, because Microsoft just kind of reports a lump sum of like, here's servers, and they just go, and then just cough that number.
They'll offer little tidbits and blah blah blah. Windows OEM sales were blah blah blah, either better or worse than expected or whatever. Like we'll get something.
We'll see. We'll see what we get, folks. We only have a week to wait, and I think that about wraps it up for Small Engines Daily. We'll catch all of you right back here next time.
Right. How to comment on the website 101.